हेलो। ओके गाइस, वी आर लाइव। सो हेलो एवरीवन, दिस इज मी हर्षल, और आज के इस वीडियो में हम अपने नेक्स्ट जेएस के एक नया प्रोजेक्ट जो हम नेटफ्लिक्स बना रहे हैं उसको हम आगे बढ़ाने वाले। ठीक है, तो ये है हमारा डे 5, और डे 4 तक हमने बेसिकली इतनी चीज़ें कर ली थी जो आप अपने स्क्रीन में देख रहे हो। हम बेसिकली पूरा डेटा लेके आ चुके थे, एंड यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि पूरा डेटा बढ़िया से आ रहा है, कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं है। एंड प्लस ये जो हमारे स्क्रोल वाले फंक्शन थे, पता नहीं इसमें शायद थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम होगी, देखते हैं क्या प्रॉब्लम है। अच्छा सॉरी, वो आगे चला गया था इसलिए प्रॉब्लम थी। ओके, सही है, सब कुछ सही है। एंड आप देख सकते हो कि स्क्रॉल वाले फंक्शन सारे सही से काम कर रहे हैं, तो अब हमें इसमें ज़्यादा परेशान होने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। ठीक है, तो अब मुझे क्या करना है बेसिकली, अब मैं चाहता हूँ कि यार अब इसमें एक साइन इन वाली फंक्शनैलिटी भी ऐड करनी पड़ेगी हमको, क्योंकि हर एक प्रोजेक्ट चालू कहाँ से होता है, साइन इन वाले पेज से होता है, आपका जो भी पेज वगैरह है। तो वो कैसे बनाओगे आप? तो एज मेंशन इन दी थंबनेल, अभी तक जितने भी थंबनेल है सब में मेंशन है कि फायरबेस हम यूज़ करने वाले हैं। तो हाँ, हम उसके लिए फायरबेस यूज़ करने वाले हैं, एंड इसके लिए मैं इसको इतना बिगिनर फ्रेंडली रखने वाला हूँ कि इसके लिए कोई प्रायर नॉलेज ऑफ फायरबेस रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है। एंड अगर आप आज का वीडियो थोड़ा ढंग से समझते हो ना, तो आप, मैं लिख के देता हूँ, फायरबेस के ऑलमोस्ट सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स में ये जो साइन इन लॉग इन वाली फंक्शनलिटी है ना, वो इजीली समझ पाओगे, लाइक इंप्लीमेंट कर पाओगे। ठीक है, और सब कुछ फ्री रहने वाला, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि फायरबेस में मैं कुछ पेड वाला सर्वर यूज़ करने वाला हूँ, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। ओके, तो हम आगे बढ़ने वाले हैं, एंड बेसिकली साइन इन मैं आपको बताता हूँ कैसा करने वाले हैं। तो सबसे पहले आपको साइन अप करना पड़ेगा, नया यूज़र डालना पड़ेगा। तो सबसे पहले उस पर आता है, ठीक है, साइन अप। एंड पहले तो यार मैंने यूआरएल ही गलत डाल दिया, तो यहाँ पे मैंने एक साइन अप वाला बना लिया है। ठीक है, तो वो मैं आपको बताऊंगा कैसे करना है। बेसिकली जो साइन इन वाला पेज था ना नेटफ्लिक्स का, वो ही मैंने फिर से साइन अप कर दिया है, समझाने के लिए सिर्फ। ठीक है, तो इसको भी मैं बना के दिखाऊंगा। हमने साइन इन वाला ऐसा डिट्टो ऐसा बना चुके हैं, पहले वीडियो में बना चुके हैं, बट फिर से मैं आपको बता दूंगा। ओके, तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो कि ईमेल और फ़ोन नंबर है। तो बेसिकली अगर आपको नया अकाउंट बनाना है, तो मैंने अभी ऐसा फॉर नाउ ऐसा बना लिया है। ठीक है, बट नेटफ्लिक्स में आप जब नया अकाउंट बनाते हो तो आपको पता है यार कि होम पेज में पहले जाते हो, फिर आईडी, अपना यूज़र नेम, ईमेल डालते हो, फिर पासवर्ड वगैरह सेट करते हो, फिर कोर्स, सॉरी कोर्स बोल रहा हूँ, हमारा प्लान परचेज करते हो। ठीक है, तो ये सब चीज़ें आप करते हो उसमें, बट अपन तो वो नहीं कर रहे हैं, अपन परचेज नहीं करवा रहे हैं अभी, तो हमें साइनअप पे फोकस करना है। तो यहाँ पे हम नया यूज़र बना रहे हैं। ठीक है, तो अभी चलो मानते हैं कि एक नया यूज़र मैं बना लेता हूँ, HJ10@gmail.com। ठीक है, इन नहीं, अभी अभी मान के चलो मैंने ऐसा डाल दिया। ठीक है, अभी मैंने ऐसा कुछ भी ईमेल ऐसा डाल दिया मन से। ओके, एंड पासवर्ड भी मैंने चलो ऐसा मन से कुछ भी डाल दिया। अभी साइन अप करता हूँ, तो अभी देखो इनवैलिड ईमेल। ठीक है, पहले तो ये वैलिडेशन में डालने वाला हूँ, ये आपको बताऊंगा कैसे करना है। ये फायरबेस से हो रहा है। ठीक है, खुद का वैलिडेशन हमने लगाया हुआ है। फायरबेस से जो एरर आ रहा है ना, उसके हिसाब से मैं कर रहा हूँ। एरर कौन सा आ रहा है वो भी बता देता हूँ। कंसोल में आप देखेंगे कि एरर वगैरह अभी, अच्छा मैंने प्रिंट नहीं किए होंगे आई गेस, तो वो नहीं आ रहे हमारे पास, बट एरर शो करवा सकते हो। मैं कंसोल करवाऊंगा अभी, जब आपको समझाऊंगा तब कंसोल करवा के समझाऊंगा कि बेसिकली किस एरर के हिसाब से मैं शो करवा रहा हूँ। ओके, तो ये हम करने वाले। एंड अगर आप मान लो कोई अच्छा ईमेल डाल दो, HJ10@, बेसिकली ये जो डेटा देख रहे हो ना, ये पहले से जो लॉग्ड इन यूज़र है ना, मैंने लॉग आउट नहीं करवाया, तो उसका डेटा, तो उसकी टेंशन मत लो। लॉग आउट का डिफरेंट फंक्शनैलिटी है, वो यहाँ से हम नहीं देखेंगे। ओके, तो यहाँ पे आपको आना है, यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हो HJ10@। आई गेस यहाँ पे कोई कुकी वगैरह जनरेट हो रखी है क्या? यहाँ पे कुकी देख सकते हो, लोकल होस्ट में एक कुकी है, लोकल स्टोरेज, सेशन स्टोरेज, है ना, और इंडेक्स डेटाबेस। अच्छा एक काम करते हैं, कुकीज़ रिमूव करके देखते हैं ना। डन। अब एक बार इसको रीलोड करते हैं। ओके, आई गेस अब कुकी नहीं आएगी। हाँ, अब देखो अपनी आई, क्योंकि पहले से एक यूज़र था। और आपको एक चीज़ बता दो कि ये जो कुकी है ना, ये बहुत काम की चीज़ होने वाली है। आप कोई भी डेवलपमेंट किसी भी चीज़ में कर रहे हो, जब आपके ब्राउज़र में जो कुकी आ जाती है ना, उसमें बेसिकली डिटेल होती है कौन सा यूज़र लॉग्ड इन रहता है। तो उससे आप कभी भी किसी भी पेज में डिटेल्स निकाल सकते हो उस यूज़र की कंप्लीट। यहाँ पे जैसे उसका ईमेल या आईडी स्टोर्ड रहता है, बट उसके थ्रू आप पूरी डिटेल्स निकाल सकते हो। तो ये बहुत काम की चीज़ रहती है। इसमें बेसिकली जो भी आपका यूज़र वगैरह लॉग इन रहेगा ना, उसका पूरा डेटा यहाँ पे एक कह सकते हैं फाइल के अंदर ऐसा स्टोर टाइप हो जाता है, लोकल स्टोर हो जाता है। जैसे आप नेक्स्ट टाइम ब्राउजर फिर से चालू करते हो तो आपको मिल जाती है यार वही आईडी। तो वो बेसिकली यहाँ पे लोकल स्टोरेज, सेशन स्टोरेज वगैरह में चीज़ें स्टोर होती है। तो ये बहुत काम की चीज़ है। एंड यहाँ पे बेसिकली आप चेक करते रहा करो, जब भी आप लॉगिन साइन अप करते हो ना किसी भी पेज पे, कोई भी पेज हो, इंस्टाग्राम, फेसबुक, कहीं भी होता है, यहाँ पे चेक करते रहा करो कि एक्चुअल में हो क्या रहा है। तो उससे आपको आइडिया लगेगा कि अच्छा यहाँ पे चीज़ें स्टोर होती है, फिर हमारा डेटा गेट होता है। ओके, तो यहाँ पे मैं एक काम करता हूँ। अब मैं ऐसा कोई अच्छा सा ईमेल डाल देता हूँ। पहले मैंने घटिया ईमेल डाला था तो उसने एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं किया कि भाई ये तो ईमेल है ही नहीं ना, क्योंकि हमने कुछ भी ऐसा टाइप कर दिया था। ठीक है, तो वो हो गया। एंड अभी मान लो मैंने ईमेल थोड़ा सा जेन्युइन टाइप का डाल दिया। ओके, हम अभी इसके वेरिफिकेशन पे नहीं जाएंगे कि भाई पहले एक मेल जाएगा हमारे पास, वेरिफिकेशन कोड आएगा, वो डिफरेंट चीज़ है यार। यहाँ पे भी हम सिर्फ ऑथेंटिकेशन पे बात कर रहे हैं। यहाँ पे सिर्फ इतना बात कर रहे हैं कि भाई ईमेल डाला, पासवर्ड डाला, साइन अप हो गया। ओके, तो sir, can you please speak in English? Can't understand the language. Okay, what's your name? Fiona. Hi, Fiona. Actually, we are having this series in Hindi, so that's why I was speaking in Hindi. But as you say, I'll continue it in English. And actually, I preferred Hindi, but ठीक है, we can continue in English. कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Okay, and I'll speak a little bit of Hindi in between because sometimes I feel it difficult to express something in English. So please cooperate a little bit, but I'll try to explain you everything in English also. Okay, so अब हम आगे बढ़ते हैं. And now what you can clearly see is यहाँ पे, okay, here we have just mentioned a random email. Okay, this is not a genuine email, and not this doesn't exist actually. Okay, so this is some random email. And now if I try to add some password of less than 6 characters, okay, suppose let me write hj12. Okay, and if I try to press this button, okay, here you can clearly see enter a strong password. So here's a validation error which we have created. If user actually type some password lesser than I guess 6 characters, then we can get this error. Okay, and which I've displayed it here. Okay, and why are we getting a null here? Because no user has logged in or signed up till now. Okay, so now let me just write a genuine password and email. Okay, so if I write hj10@gmail.com, that's again the old one. And password, let the password be hj123456. That's a little bit of bigger password. Okay, so if I try to sign up, so here we can simply see sign up successful. Okay, now where is this data going actually? So that's a big question, and you all might be thinking, where is this data, where is it being stored? So one place which I told you is this local storage and cookies. Okay, but the other place is Firebase database. Okay, I'm gonna go to that point. But now you can clearly see that we got our email, okay, and a unique user ID. Okay, so basically we don't get a password here because I think I didn't display it here. Okay, but you are getting the logged in or signed in email. Okay, now what if I try to again sign up, create a new account using the same email? Now what will I get? So if I press sign up, here you can clearly see email already in use. Okay, so it's totally working. And now what you can actually see is, let me just show you my Firebase database. Okay, so all this data is currently being stored in our Firebase database. That's totally free, and we are not that rich so that we can buy this Firebase database. Okay, and it's quite expensive, like it's in dollars, and we Indians are like believing in free stuff mostly for development purposes. Okay, someday I wish I could buy this for a bigger project. Okay, so here you can see I've created a Firebase sample project. We'll create that again, but I wanted to explain you something. Like here you can see in authentication right now, currently we just created a username. Okay, we created an email at j10@gmail.com, and here's the same UID which we were getting here. Okay, yeah, that's the same UID, and basically your user has been registered. And if I try to delete this user, okay, if I try to delete this account, delete account, okay, I've deleted that account at j10@gmail.com, and now if I try to sign up again, so here it clearly says sign up successful. Okay, all right. So we have to work a little bit on this error. I think I forgot to remove that on click. So we'll see that. But now you can clearly see that if I try to refresh this, we got another user j10@gmail.com. Okay, now this user has been registered, and this is not a lethal way. Okay, it's kind of a very unsafe. Like anyone can register. Okay, so one thing you can add after this is you can send the person an email, like whoever email is being used here, and you can just send a verification code, then they match the verification code, but that's a different thing, not sign up. Okay, that's some middleware. Okay, so let's move forward, and now I'm going to explain you how we are doing this. Okay, so I'll be showing all of the error data on the console page, so don't feel like annoyed like I'm showing everything here, because it's important for you to see everything what's been shown in the front side of your page and what's happening in the back side. Okay, so let me just close this project. Okay, we are going to work on this and we are going to add this now. All right, so let me just, okay, this was my Netflix, and we'll keep that open, and this is another Firebase project. So I'll create a new project, so you just have to go to Firebase. Okay, let me just show you everything, and if you are totally beginner, then it's all right. So you just have to click to this first link and then get started, and now we clearly see that here we have Netflix one, e-commerce one, blah blah blah, other projects. But we have to create another project, add project, and in add project we can clearly name our project. Okay, so let me just name it dummy Netflix. Oh, also I forgot to mention one thing, that if you want this repository, you can actually go to my GitHub profile, and currently I have very large amount of followers, that is 10 followers, so please follow me. And where was my repository? Yeah, here we can clearly see Netflix Next.js. Okay, so here is my repository, and I'm just sending you this link on the live chat. Have a look, and you can just copy paste or do whatever you want with this code. Okay, so yeah, and I'm going to upload today's code also here. Okay, so don't worry about that, and we'll update you if I make any changes to this one. But you can use this repository, it's totally free and public, so you can use that. Okay, so what we were naming it, dummy Netflix, then continue, and here we can see Google Analytics, we don't want that, create project, and it might take a little bit of time. Okay, so don't worry about that, let's wait. So now we have created our free database, and dummy Netflix database has been created in our Firebase, and now you can clearly see we have some options. Okay, so it's not just limited to our website, you can actually use it for different things like Android, for some Android application. I haven't used it yet, so I don't know much about their functionality, how we can use that, but you can use that for Flutter, Unity, and some Android Apple stuff. Okay, but now we are focusing on web, so just click this web icon. And another way of getting this is, I guess, just a minute, project settings. And if you want to actually, sometimes you don't get things here. Okay, you don't get things here, so you can do one thing is go to project settings, you can clearly see those stuff here. Okay, so it's, if it's a problem, then you can actually click this web icon from here. All right, so yeah, we have to rename this, and we can rename it anything. Netflix the OG. Okay, OG stands for original. It's for just for fun purpose. Okay, so Netflix the OG, and don't set up Firebase hosting. We don't need that here right now. Just register the app, and if in case future if you need that, and if you want to make it like professional project, you can definitely enable Firebase hosting. And if you want to learn Firebase in more deep, then you can actually follow my course in the same channel. It's a big course, and we have created some best projects like e-commerce project and some more beginner level projects, so you can actually follow that. And I've explained everything, like how you can actually use Firebase in different things. But if you're a beginner, then you can also follow this video, it's not an issue. Okay, so yeah, we have actually initialized our app, and now they are asking us to install this Firebase. Okay, so we have to write npm install Firebase. So just copy this, and now we have opened our project. I think I've opened it here. Okay, so here's my project from past days, and let me just run it first so you can see what we have done till now. And npm run dev. Okay, so it's running on port 3001, because in 3000 I guess some other project was running. Okay, that old projects. Okay, so yeah, here you can clearly see I've just created a sign in page, but we are focusing on sign up, not sign in. That is, we want to create a new account, not an existing account. So we'll create a same page looking similar to this, because we don't want to waste time on this UI right now. And now I want to explain the functionality. So yeah, till now we have created this, and also that movie section was also working well. Okay, and one thing you can notice here is we got some random movies before the actual got we got here. Okay, so here we can actually use a loading animation, because we have used a random function, I guess, in this file. I guess we have used a random function in this JSON format file. So what you can actually do here is we can actually show a loading animation if you want, till then the movie gets loaded and its poster got here. Okay, so just go back to this page, and we are again in sign in page, and now we can clearly write sign up here. Okay, so our app has been initialized, and here take a okay, now I just open our. Is there any error? Okay, that's just some small warning. We'll figure out that later, but it's a warning, not an error. Don't worry. So just to split this terminal, because we don't want to close this project. We are just writing here npm install Firebase, and we have to install Firebase first before using its functionalities. Okay, so it's a small package by Firebase, and you can actually use everything with this package, so it's very helpful. And yeah, it's done. And now what we have to do is create a file outside. Okay, we are creating another file outside here, and we can rename it Firebase config.js. Okay, so everything about our Firebase will be written here, and basically all the key stuff will be written here and exported from here. So we have installed Firebase, and now we can clearly copy this. And don't ever share these keys to anyone. I'm just showing you in this lecture, because what can I do else? So don't just share this to anyone else, because anyone can use this and put some random stuff in your movie website which you are going to create. So don't do that. It's for just explanation. I'm showing you this because of explanation. So just copy this, and now go to this page and copy paste. Okay, so delete this useless comment. Yeah, this one too, and this one too. Yeah, and now you can clearly see that we got some API key that's important, and some another stuff. Okay, so we have to just export some important things from here. Just wait. Okay, so some important parameters: import get firestore because we are going to use the storage also, not just authentication. And another one is for authentication, that is sign up login. And then I guess this much is enough. Okay, currently we are mostly focusing on this get auth. Okay, so yeah, and then we have to initialize our app. So yeah, we have to export it from here, create app and initialize. Okay, we have done it. It's by default copy pasted. Okay, not an issue. And then what we can actually do is, by the way, this suggestion is coming from our GitHub Copilot extension, so you can just install that. This is very helpful. And if I press tab, we actually get this. And right now it's not useful for me because I have to export Firestore directly from here. Get Firestore. Okay, have I imported? Okay, get Firestore. And another one is auth. Okay, so you have to export them from here. And what you can actually do is, no, do not export it from here. It's my personal preference, not an issue. You can export it anyways. I'm exporting them separately because it helps me understand what I have exported and what I didn't. So that's why. Okay, so now I got to know that we have exported three things. That is our app variable, and the other ones are db and auth. Okay, so they are exported and now we don't need this, so just close that one. All right, so not now what we are gonna do is we are going to create some hooks. Okay, these hooks are very important, and actually right now we are going to create a single hook. Basically a single hook will be required, so just create a folder here, auth. Okay, auth stands for authentication. It will be a better to name this auth. Okay, auth context. And then we are creating another file on auth context.js. Just a name. Okay, never matters this name. Okay, and I never understand why are this so complicated names given to these files, but it's usual and everybody names these kind of files like them, so I named it. And now you have to import some things. Import, number one is create context, number two use context. So it's basically using React. Okay, and use context, and another one is use effect, and another one is use state. Okay, all right, and then we are going to import auth from Firebase config file which we created right now. So it's useful for us to actually create that variable and export that. Okay, so we have imported this from Firebase config file, and actually this path is, yeah, this path is correct. And if you don't get this path as a suggestion, then you can actually write it like this. Now what we are going to do is simply create a function const. Okay, currently we have to create a instance const auth context, and we have to create a context, and then create another variable export, and then you can simply write const use auth equals auth context. Okay, now export auth provider context constant auth context. It's a random variable name. Okay, and basically what we are gonna do is, actually we are just understand this logic. Like if user is logged in, then we don't want to show him that sign up or login page, right? So that's what we are going to do. Okay, so basically we are checking here that is the user logged in. If user is logged in, then we are going to continue, or else we are going to show the sign up page or login page, whatever you want to show. So here just create a state. Basically it will store that is the user logged in or not logged in. And sometimes this suggestion sucks literally. So user comma set user, and then initially we are going to set our user as null because nobody is logged in right now, so we set this user as null. Okay, so these are some basics of React. And then let me just check, okay, if the user is logged in or not. So for that I'm just creating a console log, and it will basically show the details which I explained in the first 10 minutes. What are the details? Okay, it will be printed, just wait. And then we are going to create a use effect, and here we are actually taking data from another pages, that is the user logged in or not. So it will basically take data and give something in return. Okay, so यहाँ पे we can clearly write const unsubscribe, some variable unsubscribe. Let's just name it unsubscribe equals, and then you have to simply call on auth state change. Okay, so basically this will be called when a user logs in or logs out or signs up. Okay, for these three cases. So whenever there is an authentication change, whatever change it can be, first we have to call a parameter auth from Firebase. Okay, and then we have to give the user details. If user exists, then his details will be actually given here. Const, we have to write here const. Okay, so if our user exists, okay, if our user exists, then we have to write user. Okay, we'll write user, and then write set user, and then we are going to send his details. Like if a user tried to log in, it will first go to Firebase authentication. Like if the user exists, then it will say user already exists. I'm talking about sign up. Okay, if the sign up is a case for on auth state change, then in the authentication part, first it will actually go to Firebase database, and then Firebase database nahi, it will go to Firebase authentication, and then it will actually check if the user already exists or not. If the user didn't exist, then it will further pass the user details here. Okay, so whatever will be written will be actually used here. Okay, so now I'm checking is if the user exists, then set this state as the user details. Okay, so I'm passing here the user details. So user details UID, first we have to pass the UID. Okay, and then we will pass the email, and then you can actually display his name if you are taking that as input, but since we are not going to take that as input, so you can just comment this out. It's up to you. We are actually taking email as an input in the sign up page, and also the password. You shouldn't show your password here because you know it's it will be insecure, so I'm just writing here. Okay, and then what we can actually do is, if the user didn't exist, set user null. Okay, whatever the reason, like the if user already existed in the sign up part, then it will return some null value and with some error. Okay, so the null value will be stored here, or else if the user entered wrong password or something else. Okay, whatever the reason, if the user email and password are incorrect or they already existed, then this will be set as null. Okay, and else this new user will be created, and also his details will be stored here. And mind, this will be a global kind of variable, not this. Actually this user will be a global kind of variable which we are going to pass to our app.js, and app.js is being accessed by every page, you know, so that's fine. Okay, so basically it will act as a global variable, and all the user details, important ones, emails and UID वगैरह, you can store it here. Okay, so now we can move forward. And also you have created a function unsubscribe, है ना, but we have to call this function so that it will be working. So you can simply return unsubscribe function. That's what we have to call. And after this we have created a use state. Okay, so just make it blank here, and you can actually pass parameters here on which our use effect is dependent, but right now nobody depends, use effect is not dependent on anything. uh, yeah, it's not dependent on anything. Okay, so we can move forward, and now we have to create some functionalities: sign up, sign in, and sign out. These three are most important when you create a website or project, whatever, anything. So for authentication, these three things are really important. So for sign up, okay, a new user must be created. So whatever details will be passed from the front end will go inside this function. So just write async because it might take some time to get the details. If database is large, it will actually take some time. So email comma password. There are two parameters which I'm passing here, but you can actually pass more, but I'm actually taking only two parameters from the user as in the sign up page: email and password. That's why I'm actually passing email and password. And just give it a little space, and this is an arrow function, so we don't need to write anything else. Okay, so we have given two parameters: email comma password, and now we have two things: email and password. First we have to check that does it exist in our database. If not, then we can continue. Okay, so here you can simply return a function. It's an inbuilt function from Firebase, that's create user with email and password. So that's a function which is called in Firebase when you create a new user, and it pretty much does everything for us. That if the user already existed, then it will throw an error. If the password is small, it will throw an error, etc, etc. And if the email is invalid, it will throw an error. And if everything is okay, it will actually sign up. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do after this is like if everything is okay, then we can actually pass then. Okay, this is very important because like if somehow you got an error, then you don't want your error to stop your application. That's why we are creating then and catch. That's very important, and you must create this because most people don't, and then they face difficulties, like their application stops working for some reasons, and that will create a very big impact. And I used to actually avoid this then and catch, but when I came to know about its functionality, then it's awesome. So if the user logged in successfully, sorry, signed up successfully, new user has been created, so you can simply return any string. Okay, I'm returning sign up success. Okay, you can actually return anything else, but now here comes the play. Here you have to use catch. If you got an error like anything can be error: invalid email or a small password or user already exists. These three can be our errors which we actually use in our authentication part, like in our validation part. So you can actually write .catch, and inside this we can write error. And now you can actually send this error message. I'm not displaying it anywhere, I'm just sending it. Okay, so you can do one thing: you can actually console log this also if you want, console.log, but I think this won't work. I'm just testing because console.log won't work for this. Let me just check, and here you can simply return that error. Okay, so it's a Firebase error which will be used in our front end, so it's very important. And you can simply return error dot message. For now just return the error. Okay, for now just return the error, save. Okay, and now our function has been created, sign up function has been created, and similar is our sign in function. Like if the user tries to log in, not sign up, it's login part. Okay, so we are working on sign in part, that is login, same thing, and it follows the similar procedure, but it uses a different function: sign in with email and password. Okay, so if everything is okay, then it will actually return sign in success. And if the password is invalid or the user is invalid, user does not exist, if that's the reason, then it will give an error and we will store that error. We are actually not throwing that error or showing to our page in big red words that you are not existing in this platform or whatever the reason. We are actually storing this error right now. Okay, this will be used in our validation in the login page, and this will be used in the sign up page. Okay, so that's our function. And last function which is very useful is logout. Okay, so you can call it sign out or logout, it's up to you, but I'm naming it logout because the inbuilt function of Firebase is named as sign out, so it will be a little bit confusing. That's why I'm using logout. And you can actually call a asynchronous function, and then you can call this. Okay, so I did a mistake here. Okay, don't use this. Okay guys, actually you have to pass another parameter here, that's auth. Okay, it will actually call this auth. Okay, and remove this one, just write auth inside this. I used another way like auth dot this full stuff, but it didn't work with me, so I'm using auth inside this, auth comma email. Okay, and another one is sign out. So for sign out you can, let me just write this again. GitHub Copilot sometimes messes my code. Okay, so first we are going to write here set user. I might change this, but let it be. Just we are not going to focus on logout functionality today, but just write it. Okay, wait, and it might be wrong, I don't know it's right or wrong, but I'll just write it for now because I'm also using Firebase after a very long time, like 2-3 months, so it's a little bit difficult for me to actually remember this logout functionality. But if there's a problem, I'll change it. Okay, so for right now I've just use this logout functionality. Like if someone presses the logout button, then this function will be called, and the user which is being stored globally here, okay, which is being stored globally here, will be set it as null. Okay, will be set it as null. And if the user is null, then you can actually throw another page, login page or sign up page. Okay, that's why we are actually setting it as null, because it's very useful. And you can actually set it as blank, but null is better. Okay, and then you can actually call this function whenever you log out with Firebase, auth.signout. Okay, but I don't know it will work or not because I removed auth.signin with email from here. So let's see, we are not focusing on this right now. And then if some error comes up here, then you can actually console log then that error, like console.log error. And also you can, okay, rest everything is okay. So that's our auth. Okay, that's our auth context, and which will be used everywhere. So just close this one. And okay, we have to return something here. Just return something here. So auth context function we have created, and then we have called a use effect, which will actually check if the user exists or not, like if he's logged in or not. That's the stuff. And these are the functions which we have created. Whenever these functions will be called, things will happen, authentication will change. Okay, and then we have to return something. Basically returning this will actually create this functionalities working for our page. Okay, right now we haven't connected anything, we have just created our functionalities. So you have to return, in the return you have to write auth context dot provider, and inside the value you are going to send, okay, what's the issue? Okay, no issue. Okay, we are going to send some functionalities which we created here. First is very important, user. Okay, we are going to check which user is logged in or not, and that user will be sent here. And since we are using a use effect, so it will be real time. Okay, real time changes will be happening it, and it won't require a refresh to check if user exists or not, like he's logged in or not. So user sign in, and another one is sign up and log out. Done. And why is it giving us another error? Auth context. I guess I did a mistake. Let me just write it again. Okay, for some reasons we are getting an issue. Auth context provider, we are exporting it here and we are using it here. This one, okay, not this one, we are using this one. So we are using auth context and we are giving it a blank parameter right now. Then you have to simply write auth context dot provider and then close this one, and then open this auth context dot provide. What's the issue? Guys, just a minute, okay? Okay, let me just see what happened here is this is not required. We have to import auth from here. Okay, this is working, and then Firebase auth, it's working. Create context, we have used create context here, and then we are actually checking the providers. Basically we are using a Firebase provider. There can be different providers, but we are using Firebase provider. And provider actually means the third party application which you are using for your login sign up. That's a provider, you can say. And we have actually created our auth context which uses create context, and inside this we have used the blank parameters. Okay, I guess this was the problem. We are returning it like this. Okay, now it's okay. So a small bracket can actually destroy everything, but we found our error. Now we can actually send those values, the functionalities which we wanted to use. We can name it user comma sign in, sign in, then sign up, then log out. Okay, these are the functionalities which we wanted to use, and this one is very important, this one is important, this one is important, this one is also important. So everything is important. वैसे we can actually use Next.js inbuilt sign out functionality. If you don't want to use Firebase functionality, you can actually use that. It's not an issue, but this is better. Okay, all right, so we have created everything. Now just close this one. Now go to app.js so that we can actually merge our authentication part with our code. Okay, so just go to app.js. App.js is here. Okay, so what we are going to do is wrap our component tag inside our authentication context. Okay, all right, so just use auth context provider here. Okay, just make sure you have exported auth context provider, auth context provider from our auth file. Okay, auth context provider, and now we are actually controlling our project from Firebase after implementing them over this component. So basically everything will be present inside this, and we can actually control everything with the help of our context provider. The context has been created here. As you can see, auth context provider has been exported, and I guess, cross fingers, it is working fine, and it's returning something. So what's the children here? Children is basically, we have passed the children here. Now you will actually get what's the children. Children is basically the component which I have called inside this. Okay, so instead of calling this for each and individual page, what I did was actually calling it inside, calling it in the app.js. So basically everything will be covered in app.js, and everything which is covered in our app is actually present inside this component, so which is called here, and it's wrapped over these auth context provider tags. Okay, so yeah, now our authentication part is complete, and let's see what's the issue. Let's save it first, and now if I take you to our project, inspect console. Okay, so now you can see we are getting null. Why is this null? Because no user has signed in right now or signed up right now. That's why we are getting null. So now you can actually see our project is working a little bit now. So let's first create a sign up page. I'll create a sign up page similar to this. Okay, don't get confused. So where is our sign in page? I'm going to create another route that is named as signup.js. Okay, and just write RFCE. Here we can do copy paste stuff. Okay, you can actually copy paste this, copy and paste it. Okay, copy paste. So this much has been created in previous videos, so I'm not going to repeat this. I guess it was covered in day 2, that main HTML CSS part. Okay, so it will be showing sign up, and here also sign up, and need help will be okay, and here okay. Okay, sign up now. Na, you can actually write sign in now. Okay, sign in, just write sign in here. Like if user is already signed up, if he has created his account, then he will go to this link. So just create a link tag here, and inside this paste our span tag. Okay, yeah, and what you can actually do is just, okay, we have to give a href here. Don't forget to give a href here. Like if user wants to sign in, he will go to this sign in route, and here you can similarly perform another link tag. Inside this link tag, paste this button, paste this text, and href will be I guess it's sign in, right? Sign in. Okay, sign in. Okay, so what's the issue? Let's see there, what's the issue? Acha, link is not defined. We have to define it here. I guess it is defined in this page. Not defined. Import link. Okay, copy. And one more thing, just copy everything from here, because we are using the same page with different text. Okay, so here's our sign up page. Okay, let's save it, and now you can actually see, like if I create this button, link to sign up. Okay, I've just written sign in here. You have to write sign up, and in this page you have to write sign in. Okay, sign in. Let's save and check. Okay, so if I write sign up now, you can see we got the sign up page. If I click this sign in page, you got this page. Okay, and if you write sign up here, you got the sign up page. Okay, it's working. So now we are going to implement our registration part here. Okay, so in sign up page, first you have to write your email, harshal@gmail.com, password aj123, submit. So as you can see, nothing happened because we didn't implement this on our front end page. Okay, front end page, but our auth context is still working. So now we are going to implement this on our front end page. So this is very important, and let's start from here. Nine people are watching. Thanks guys for watching. And if you found this video a little difficult, I know Firebase is a little bit difficult for beginners, not that difficult, but I think if you're a beginner, you might find that difficult. So you can actually contact me on Instagram at the rate Harshal3011 if you have any queries, Harshal_3011. Okay, and you can actually follow me on GitHub for my GitHub repositories. All of them are free and public, so you can use them, but don't misuse them. Because most of my projects have open keys. I've not used environment variables. That's a big mistake, and I'm lazy enough, so I didn't ever change that. So just don't misuse my projects. And here's my YouTube channel. Okay, okay, so for the errors we are actually creating a state. So let's name our state, just write email error, comma, set email error. Okay, initially it will be blank, and similarly state for password error, and yeah, that's enough. And then we are going to create another state for our data which we are sending. Okay, so data will be password and email, and just name it data, comma, set data equals use state. And we are actually passing two parameters here, that is our email, which will be initially blank, and password, that will be initially blank. So we are actually going to update this as per the details. Okay, so let's just implement this. And one more thing, if I console log data, okay, so initially our data will be blank, so nothing will be shown, but let me just add my on change here in the input fields. So this is not the one, this is the one. Okay, for the email this is the one, and we are not considering the phone number. We are actually focusing on the email because that will be a little bit or more difficult for us right now, because we just want to sign up. Okay, so in the sign up we are actually using the email. And whenever user writes something inside this email input text box, okay, so what we are actually passing here is on change. So whatever text letter will be written here, on change will be called, and in on change we will pass a parameter e. Okay, and e will actually carry the value. Like if I pressed a will be stored inside this and then passed after this, whatever we will write after this. Now suppose if a user writes a, okay, for some reason user writes a, so inside set data we'll actually append. Okay, not update, not write anything, we are going to append. Okay, so set data will be called, and inside this whatever alphabets which user wrote before this will be called, so data. Okay, whatever will be present inside that data will be called, and we will append actually. Like suppose if I wanted to write harshal@gmail.com, initially if I wrote h. Okay, so h will be stored here. Then if I wrote a, then h will be stored here, but ha will be present. Okay, so a will be actually appended here. So you are getting my point. nothing is being erased, the data is being appended here. Okay, for a fresh like if you removed everything, then obviously it will become blank, but HAR one by one will be stored as a string here. Okay, so yeah, we are actually calling email. Okay, so inside this email we are going to pass e.target.value. So whatever the value will be present inside this will be stored inside this. That's a clear point. And also you can actually show that value here too. Value equals data dot email. Okay, so data dot email, you can actually show that here, and also you can do the same for password. Okay, so if I try to write, like suppose if I wrote, first we have to specify its type. I forgot to specify its type, that is password, right? And value can be data dot password, which will be initially blank, and then you can pass on change equals e, and then you can pass set data. Inside this you have to update the password similarly. Okay, so that's it. We have passed the data, and let's see, just console log this data, and now we are going to write something. What's the error? Use state is not defined. All right, use state must be defined here. And if I try to write something here, HARS, so you are seeing this, right? I'm getting letter by letter data here. Okay, so whenever I press a letter, it gets added here. Okay, HARSHAN. Okay, so whatever you are writing here will be added here. So if I try to write a password here, HA123, so you can see we have a password here. Okay, so that must be clear. That's the basic input part, and now we got the data which user gave us inside this data variable. Okay, so it's a state basically, not just a simple variable. So it will be updated whenever user tries to sign up, whatever the reason, and then everything will be stored inside our data variable. Okay, and now we can use this data to check is this user genuine or whatever the reason you want to check. Okay, so now we got the data, and once the data is being given, user will actually press this button. So we can actually call this on click, and inside this we can actually call our sign up part. Okay, so we'll create a function handle sign up, and this function will be created upwards here. Okay, now just write const handle sign up, and now sign up will be called e.prevent default, and then prevent default will basically, if you try to write something, like if I wrote something here, now you can see our form isn't being refreshed and everything won't get empty. So that's the benefit of using e.prevent default. Okay, so that's very important, and it will play a major role because it helps us to send data. Basically, if you don't use this e.prevent default, it will send empty data and it might cause error for some languages and frameworks. I'm not talking about every framework. Okay, so यहाँ पे we can simply write console.log, and we are actually checking data. Okay, so now we have removed this. Okay, let's see now, is this working or not? So if I wrote this and sign up, okay, so it's refreshing my page. Because I removed e.prevent default. So now you got it. Okay, now you got it. And now if I try to write this, okay, so we got our email and password. So now everything is working well, and we just want to pass this data to our authentication part. Okay, so one thing which we can do is, if user didn't enter his email, like if he pressed sign up, and the email part is empty, then we can show an error, email is required. Okay, so for the error we have created a state email error, and this will be set it here. So have I named it? Okay, set email error, set password error. Okay, so these are the states, and I've updated the state if the email is empty, on button click. Okay, and similar is for password, and if data.password is empty, you can call same but a different state here. Okay, I've called set password error function here, which will update its state, and I've created a password error, password is required. Okay, so let's just implement it first, and the email error must be shown above this one. Okay, so let's just write if email error is empty, then don't show anything. But if email error is not empty, then we want to show an error. Okay, so that's how you can actually write. So we want to show the error can be email error. Okay, email error, whatever will be stored inside this, like if the user left it empty, set email error will be actually passing email is required to this variable, and then it won't be empty, right? It won't be empty, it will contain email is required. So email is required, which will be sent here. So we want to pass email is required here, so just pass email error. Email error will contain email is required. Okay, similar is for, just copy this. Okay, let's just give it a class. So Netflix has validation color orange. Okay, orangish color if you write some wrong password or ID. Okay, so some orange error comes in above that, so I'll just write that, and I'll give it a class name. Let's just name it error. Okay, simple. And just copy this, and again this validation will work the same here, but for different variable, that is password error, and similar is for here, password error. Okay, yeah, so let's check this one, and initially you won't get anything, but if I try to just sign up, so you got an error, email is required, password is required. Acha, if I wrote something here but nothing here, so actually I didn't make it. So one thing you can actually do is on change, if you write this, you have to set email error is black. So next time if there is some error, and if user tries to write something again, the error will be gone. Okay, so again this will be called here set data. Okay, for password we have passed an on change, and yeah, inside this you have to call that set password error as blank. Okay, save this one, and what will actually happen here is, if you got some, if you actually left that blank, so we got these errors, but if you write something here, that error will be removed. If you write this here, that error will be removed. Okay, so that's some important thing which will actually create your user experience better. Okay, so now our validation stuff is done, but we have to show validation error in a better way. So what you can actually do is write css for this error class which we have passed. Okay, so for this error class we are going to pass the css. Just copy this error and sign up. The css for this is common. Okay, sign in and sign up have common css because I've just copy pasted. So right now you can pass this validation error, and color can be orange. Okay, color can be orange. So if I leave it blank and it's orange, okay, so I guess I'm giving an unnecessary margin for, acha, margin is given to this one. Okay, okay, now I think it's okay, but it's for the h1 tag, we have to use it for input tag. So where's the input tag? Input tag. Yeah, that's here. And we are giving it a margin of 10. So let's just give it 5. That will work. Okay. And then give this a top margin. Yeah, top margin. Margin top. It can be 5 pixel, I guess will work. Okay. Now it's okay. Okay. So you can actually add more things similar to Netflix, but I think it's okay. And if you write something, the error is gone. Okay. So what we are going to do here is now we are actually making the user sign in. Okay. So for that we have created a sign up function in the auth context file. Okay. So write sign up, and this is a simple function which actually requires two things, which we pass data.email and data.password. Data.email comma data.password. We have passed two things. Okay. So whatever will be the response will actually be stored inside our then, and inside then you can actually create a variable response res, and whatever will be the response will be stored here. Okay. So let's save and check. So if I try to write this, okay, sign up, invalid hook call, what's the issue? You might have mismatching versions of React and render. Okay, I think there's some problem with this. Let's see what's the issue. Invalid hook call. I think this must not show an error to us at all. But I guess this is the problem. Sign up is the problem. ब्रो हिंदी में बात करो यार एक चीज डिसाइड कर लो यार, इंग्लिश हिंदी में परेशान हो गया हूँ बहुत ज्यादा तुम लोग से ओके ब्रो न्यू हेयर कट, सॉरी ब्रो एग्जाम चल रहा है तो क्लास अटेंड नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ आपकी कुछ दिनों से। इट्स ओके यार, अब चलता है, ठीक है। नाइस हर्षल, सल्यूट टू योर हार्ड वर्क। अरे थैंक यू, थैंक यू। ओके, सो वी कैन मूव फॉरवर्ड एंड अब तो हो गया, आज का वीडियो इंग्लिश में हो गया, अब मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता। वी कैन कंटिन्यू इन इंग्लिश। सो व्हाई इज दिस एरर? Just a minute guys. Okay, we have created a handle sign up, and inside handle sign up this state is okay, this state is okay. I think this is causing some error. Just a minute. Okay, what we have named it here, I have to check. Called sign up here. Okay, sign up part, and inside sign up we have passed some variables here. Okay, just see, we have passed sign up here. So let's export in the name of sign up. Okay, let's export in the name of sign up. I guess it messed up around the name, so sign up, and now I think this won't cause any error. And similarly sign in. Okay, sign in will be sign in, and then logout is okay. Okay, and now let's see what actually happens. Sign up will be called here. Okay, so this sign up is actually being called from our authentication part, so don't get confused. And now what we can do is we have created a function right here, side use auth. Okay, so we have to call the use auth first, import use auth. Okay, so we called our use auth, and then everything is okay. Now let's see what happens. I don't know why it is actually showing this error. We have passed everything in auth context provider. In auth context, you have passed the sign in and yeah, here we are okay. So it's not an issue here. The issue might be here, or we have to actually reinitialize our app. So it's taking auth context provider from our correct directory. That's not an issue. And things are being forwarded to our component. Okay, that's not an issue. Just close this and then in sign up, not required sign up. Okay, inside sign up, we are using this function sign up. Okay, and here we are using sign up. It's not an issue. Why is it showing me here? Okay guys, just a minute. Okay, it will take me a little bit more time. I'm actually confused with this one. We have exported this correctly. Yeah, we have exported this correctly. Let's see. Inside sign up, we are using. Okay, okay. One mistake which I have done was I didn't import it. That's what I'm actually trying to find out. Okay, so we want to import it. That's a big mistake. Sorry, guys. And you have to first import the user. Okay, if the user is logged in or null, you will get here. And similarly, you have to use sign in, and similarly sign up. And one more thing is logout. Special sign up and logout are not required here, but I wanted to show you that that's how you import. And use auth has been exported here, and we called our custom hook. Okay, so that's some important thing which I forgot. We created our custom hook, but we didn't actually call this custom hook, so that's a big mistake. But now we have called our custom hook, and now you can see it became blue, and the error dot 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 which we got here will be gone. And now let's see. Yeah, perfect. So now let's just write something here, sign up. So now you can see configuration not found. That similarly in sign up file you have taken arrow function sign up makes. Yeah, I actually changed that sign up and sign up were creating a mess. That's what making it bad. But more important thing was we didn't actually import our functions which we exported from there. So that was the main issue, not the naming. But naming can be done because I've used this, like you will be small and this you will be small, like they were same functions but it worked fine. The main reason was I forgot to import them. That's what the main issue. Okay, so here you can see we have configuration not found. This simply means that the user does not exist. Okay, so if I try to enter some email, so it says configuration not found. Okay, so one thing we wanted to do is I forgot to use this. That's why it's showing configuration not found. Guys, one thing you can do is set up authentication, which I didn't use. Okay, so here is the authentication documentary वगैरह. You can actually use that if you want to search. You search for authentication documentary in the Firebase website. You will get that. But I'm just simply jumping it here. And inside the users, you can see we don't actually have any users. So you have to set the sign in method, and for now we are actually setting it as email/password, but there are many more providers, but we are using simple Firebase provider. And just enable this and then save. Okay, first we enable this and then our function our users will be stored here. Okay, so don't add users manually here. Okay, so let's just refresh it first, and then this question mark must be removed, and then try to write something J, and then again here, then click sign up. Okay, so invalid email. So that's what I wanted to show you, that the user does not exist. Okay, so if I try to write genuine email at j@gmail.com, okay, and password at j123456, sign up. So yeah, now you can see sign up success, which we passed from our backend side. So sign up success is working, and then you can see our user signed up successfully. We got this user, and here you can simply see we got our user. Okay, so now our project is working well. And now what I wanted to show is, if I try to sign up again with the same user, it must show an error. It's showing an error, and I've actually used this error to show to update my validation part. Okay, so let me just show you. And once you click this, okay, so if the error is there is some error, it will be always be shown as a response in our then. Okay, because the error is actually given as a response from our sign up page. You can actually see the error is given as a response from our sign up page. Both of these are responses. Okay, we have returned them, that is why they are our responses. Okay, so what we are going to do is, whatever is the response, we have printed it there. Okay, so by judging them, I've created some if else statements. So the first if statement is, if response equals invalid email, okay, then we can actually console log invalid email, but it's not useful right now. Just simply pass this error, set email error invalid email. Okay, let's save, and now we can actually use that. If I try to give some random email, and if I press that, so we are getting invalid email. Okay, because I passed this error. Similar is for email already in use. So if I try to log in sign up with the same user email, and let me just use that use this. So if I try to use @gmail.com again, okay, gmail.com again, and password will be @123, like sign up. So what happened here is, okay, we have actually used a small password. That's a validation which Firebase uses. So if you actually pass a small password, so you want to show another error. Actually we have console log, but it's actually commented, that's why we did get an error in our console part. But now you'll actually get an error as the password is too small. Okay, so if you try to log in again with this with a smaller password, like if I write @gmail.com, okay, @123, that's a small password, and if you try to sign up, enter a strong password. Okay, that's working. So these were the error. You can actually find that by console log, and you can copy paste these errors. Okay, so now another one is sign up success. Like if everything is okay, then we can actually console log sign up success. Okay, we can actually give an alert sign up successful. Okay, and what I wanted to show you is email already in use. So let's see this one. So if I try to log in with same email at j123, okay, let's create an email at j@gmail.com, and let's give it a password at j123456. Just click sign up. If you click sign up, it says sign up successful, because we passed an alert here. Okay, so that's why it showed sign up successful. Okay, and then if we get something else, like if the user already existed, let's see how many users are being here. So you can see @j10@gmail.com, that's the user which we added right now. So if I try to sign up again with the same details, just with the same email, okay, not the password can be same, different, never matters, but it's first checking the email. Okay, so if I click sign up, So it says email already in use. So our validation is completely working, and now our sign up part is successful. So that's it for today. And if you have any issues regarding this video, then you can contact me on Instagram, and after ending this stream I'll actually push this code on my GitHub repository, so you can actually access that, and I've given that GitHub repository link in my live chat, so you just check that out. Okay, and also you can follow me on Instagram and subscribe to Coders Up. Okay, so that's it for today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.